David Dziedzic is with me right now, and you're from Realcore Realty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're a Canadian who's living in the States right now, and of course, we've heard all about the market down there and how there's a huge slump, and a lot of Canadians are going down and investing in real estate. Now, your area of expertise right now is Arizona.
It is.
Okay, and I personally know people who have gone down and invested in properties down there. What do we need to know before we do something like that?
Well, first of all, you need to find a good real estate company, and you need to go down and obviously the prices right now are down 30 to 40%. The dollar is very strong, as everybody knows. We're almost at par. So take a good look around. Make sure you get a good tour. Make sure you see a lot of the inventory that's out there.
Okay. Now here we've got sort of offices like ComFree and things like that. When we're dealing with purchases in another country, we really do need an agent, because there are things like tax implications and things like that that wouldn't be in our personal areas of expertise. And
that's exactly what we've covered at our seminars. We cover some tax implications. We've been fortunate enough to have Cam McIntosh show up to our seminars. So we have a lot of knowledge in that. And also some of the thing that kind of sets our company a little bit apart from the other ones is we actually do the property management too.
Okay. So if we're buying it for a rental situation, for example, on a golf course or something, how do we find renters from up here? You guys will handle that.
Exactly.
Okay. So we mentioned taxes. What are the tax implications? Let's say we've managed to scrape together a down payment and we're heading down, we found a property. What else do we need to know? I'm a Canadian citizen. Can I own property in the States? How often can I be there?
You can own property free and clear. Definitely, I'm going to have to tell you, you need to definitely consult with the CA on that. But you can own it free and clear. And for the most part, the taxes in Arizona especially are very favorable. There is no double taxation. I think that's one of the main things for it. Is there is some certain ways that you do need to talk to a CA, an attorney, about how you would bring money back in.
Okay, so if I've made money, let's say I've got such a steal that my rental unit is creating income for myself in the States, what are the implications to my Canadian taxes then here?
Okay. Well, the first thing is you're going to have to do is file a U.S. tax return.
Okay.
And then you're also going to have to bring that back on what's, I believe, is called a 1044 form here in Canada, and report that. For the most part in real estate, if you're a good real estate investor like I am myself, there is different ways to avoid the taxes. You get to depreciate the income about 4% a year on the purchase price, so that you can actually bring that amount down. Obviously, too, if you have to go down and visit maybe the property management company and come visit me, see how your investment's doing, obviously then there's another opportunity for you to maybe write it off.
The flight, etc.
Right.
Okay. So let's just say I'm down and I'm visiting my property. I now have a property in the States and I'm visiting it, and I think, wow, I'd love to stay here for 8 full months. Can I just do that as a Canadian citizen?
You can. Most people, to keep their medical, though, they're going to stay for 182 days, is what most people do. There is definitely, Cam gets into that a lot, is actually, if you finally retire and you decide, I'm going to break my ties off with Canada, then actually your taxes come down, even from your Canadian pension and so on. But that's more of a subject, again, for your CA.
So there's nothing prohibitive here. It's just different than what we're used to, say, if you had a cottage or a cabin here in Alberta. It's just a different set of circumstances, so know what you're getting into before you go down.
Exactly. Okay. The neat thing about the property right now is that right now, if you were to invest in property in Alberta, the mortgage, the renter is not covering your mortgage. If you're investing in Arizona, you can actually have positive cash flow. The developers are out there screaming. They're putting deals together. I have one developer that's actually with us. They're actually giving you guaranteed rents for 2 years. They're actually leasing the property back for you, so you're worry-free for 2 years. And then we have an offer where we're actually taking the property management over for free for the 3rd year. So somebody's sitting there looking for 3 years worry-free, so they can either wait out the market and have a great investment.
Okay, so we've been hearing about this, the slumped U.S. housing market for quite some time now. Where are we at in terms of investment? Have we missed the boat? Are there deals to come? Should we wait? At what, sort of where are we in terms of getting the best deal?
I wish I had a crystal ball, but what the economists are saying is we're definitely in that lower tier. A lot of them are saying by election time, the American election time, November, is when we should pull out.
Okay.
So I would say somewhere, if you're going to make a move, I would look somewhere between now and November.
Okay, and so get it together before then, because
Right.
obviously the U.S. isn't going to allow their economy to do this for much
Right.
longer, and they're going to adjust.
And the other thing to consider too is with the Canadian dollar, the Canadian government has actually come right out and said, we're going to press your dollar down. We want it down. We would like it down in the low 90 cents, maybe even the mid 80 cents, and that way to spur the exports. So you've really got to weigh that out also.
Okay, we have barely touched all of the things that we need to talk about, but we've run out of time in our segment here. But people can come and hear you in a free seminar tonight. You are at the Coast Terrace Inn?
We are.
Okay, from 6 to 8 this evening.
6 to 8.
And can people just show up, or?
We prefer they go online. Go and check out our website. Actually, there's some phenomenal information there. So there's a relocation guide. There is a 70-page tax implication guide on our
right
website.
Here. Yep.
So it's at realcorerealty.ca.
Okay, now we've got all the information right here, Realcore Realty, and David will be at the seminar tonight. It's an 877 number if you want to call. It's toll free, 745-1112, realcorerealty.ca. I have to say your website is incredibly comprehensive. And I asked David point blank, I said, listen, we get a lot of people through the show. It's a free seminar. What's in it for you? And you said, hey, if people want to do it, then hopefully they'll become your client and you'll get the commission out of the sale. But that's the only sort of catch here. And
that's it. We're not going to chain the doors. We won't be selling any CDs or tapes or anything like that. It's strictly informational.
Well, I think that's great. And certainly if you're interested in property in the States, this is something you'd want to check out because there's a lot of implications behind it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
All right.